Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Romanov and I am a certified family law specialist practicing family law in the Bay Area. Today I would like to talk about my personal experience in the Bay Area court system during COVID-19 times. So starting with San Francisco, I divided it in 3 sections: filing and scheduling the hearings, and hearings themselves and the tentative rulings, and including ex partes, filing and the hearing of the ex parte. So starting with San Francisco, filing. In San Francisco, there is no in-family court system. There is no way to e-file anything. So you would need to hire, or I would need to hire someone, a process server, to go and file. And they let process servers same day from 8:30 to 12:30 as we speak today. Today is December 4th. And then if something needs to be actually stamped filed right now, and then sometimes, not sometimes, the process server can also leave after 12:30 the package, and it will be considered, if it left before 4 p.m. the same day, it will be stamped unless something happens. The fee is not, the check is not left in the right amount. So that's why it's important to have it filed before 12:30 so nothing bounces back if the deadline is on that day. And then that's how to file. Then once it's filed on at the clerk's window, it's possible to get a date at the same time and talk to the clerk and find whether this day or that day is possible. So that's why it's an advantage to file it in person. The hearings themselves are, unlike, for example, Moreno, other counties, are not held via Zoom or via Blue Jeans. So the 2 departments that are working for family law matters, 4-3 and 4-4, they require everyone to call a day before or email and leave a phone number to call. I had an issue where I had a hearing and someone from the court clerk department was supposed to call me, and I only heard it ring once, and I wasn't able to quickly pick it up, and then they dismissed the whole hearing. So that's a big disadvantage comparing to other counties that allow, for example, Zoom, where they see my name, they cannot just ignore it. So that was unfortunate, and we had to do back and forth emails and eventually straighten it all out. And also San Francisco has tentative ruling system, meaning the tentative ruling is something that judge tentatively, meaning rules a day before, and if parties do not object, meaning if they don't call the clerk and if they don't call the opposing side by 4 p.m., it is considered as a court order and appearances are not required. If someone objects, then all appearances are required the next day. That's what I like about San Francisco. Parties know where they stand a day before, and they can decide whether to object or not. Typically, unless it's a big error on the judicial side, which is never happens most of the time, unless some little switches, petitioner, respondents, and typos, judges usually don't change their mind. So tentative ruling is really helpful. Also, before COVID-19, when we had ex partes, we could give a notice a day before by 10 a.m. to the other side and file the ex parte request by 1 p.m. a day before, still the same, and then the other side would have to file and give a notice by 11 a.m. on the same day when the ex parte is happening, and ex parte in San Francisco is typically happening at 1:30 p.m. I have to say the only one department that I missed to say that handles some of the family matters is 4 or 5, and they do have Blue Jean system. So the only thing that changed in COVID-19 is that 1 1:30 used to be the time when we had to all stand in front of the department, and the clerk would give us, the judge would 99% of the time not come out, and the clerk would give us the paperwork to show what the judge decided. Right now, it's not, we don't have to be there. The clerk either call us or we send our process server to pick up the paperwork. And it happens at 1:30 on that day. So that's great. That didn't change. Now, moving on to Alameda. I didn't have that many appearances in Alameda. Again, this year in COVID-19, nothing changed. Everything has to be filed same way as in San Francisco in person. They do have Zoom, or is it Blue Jeans? I have to double check. Zoom or Blue Jeans appearances, and it has to be, you can look it up on their website or email the clerk, so it constantly changes to find out how to set it up. And then ex partes are handled differently than in San Francisco. Ex partes, people submit their paperwork according to the local rules, and then the court decides approximately within a week. So it's not like a specific date and time where the court has to decide like in San Francisco. Contra Costa has been the worst nightmare experience during COVID-19 times. I heard, I don't know if it's true, it's rumors, that a lot of clerks were laid off, causing a lot of backlog, a lot of delays. I had ex partes got lost. I had stipulations to continue a hearing haven't been looked at until after the hearing passed. So for example, if we want to continue a hearing that is happening in 2 months and we submit the stipulation today, in 2 months, they haven't even looked at our stipulation. This is how bad it is. So filing though can be done via e-file. So there are different systems to use it. Green filing is one of them, or e-filing directly. And again, you can look it up on their website how to do it, but it bounces a lot. The clerks are almost like they're looking for this is the wrong code, you didn't enter. So they have when you file, you have a request for order, it's easy, then you click request for order. If you have something else, finding order after hearing, and the exhibit, or it's just a nightmare. I had it happen many times where it bounces back, and then they write notes, and then we submit it again, and then they find something else. So they never write actually suggestions how to do it better. So it's a nightmare. I don't like Contra Costa system right now. The appearances are happening via court call. And I don't know what's going on. San Francisco, when they call me, I give them the best phone number I have, but court call is 888 number where I call and a moderator plugs me into the court system. Almost every single hearing, I would hear the judge telling me that or opposing counsel that I cannot hear you, you're cutting off, and it's just so if I lived close by, I would always be there, because I really don't like the interaction via court call with all these interruptions. So they don't have tentative ruling. I forgot to mention Alameda does not have tentative ruling either. So Contra Costa does not have tentative ruling. Only San Francisco and Marin has tentative ruling. Alameda, Contra Costa, San Mateo do not. So Contra Costa has e-filing, bouncing issues, ex partes. I had situations where I had to email and call the clerk for 2 weeks for an emergency matter when we filed an ex parte. So I'm gonna cut it short because I'm noticing my frustration with Contra Costa is rising in my blood right now. Moving on to San Mateo. San Mateo has a beautiful e-filing system, bounces back sometimes, but it's not as bad as Contra Costa. And they have Zoom appearances, and I had no issues with e-filing, Zoom appearances. The only issue I had was at the beginning of COVID-19. We filed a request for order for spousal support and child support, and we haven't gotten any hearing date until I think 6 or 7 months later. So I know it was during this crazy pandemic time. However, 8 months or whatever that time was, 6 months, it was a long time to get a hearing, which I never experienced with San Francisco, Alameda, Contra, Costa, or Marin. Marin is where I live now, is the most organized system. The only disadvantage in Marin that I am noticing, they do not have a docket view. Like all other counties, I can enter the case number and I can see exactly what happened, who filed what, when, what's missing, who is representing whom. This is beautiful in all counties except Marin. I don't know why. Everything else is amazingly organized, but that is bugging me big time, because when I enter the case number, I only see limited amount of information that it's not as accessible. For example, comparing to civil court system in San Francisco, I can actually click view and see the entire document, so I don't have to send anyone, but it's only in civil, not family. All right, so Marin, tentative rulings are pretty good, on time, like San Francisco, always on time. And the tentative ruling has the Zoom information. The one disadvantage that you need to know when you have the Zoom information on the tentative ruling, it's a PDF, so you cannot just copy paste it and enter it into Zoom, which is unfortunate. But on the website, they have a month in advance for each department the Zoom information that is copy pastable, so you can copy paste it into the Zoom. Filing. If I need to file something on the same day and I hire a process server, Marin does not let a process server file it on the same day. Why not? I don't know. I have to go there myself and file it the same day. For the process server, they give an appointment which they have to schedule 2 days in advance. So if I need to file something right away, I do not hire a process server in Marin. And I cannot file via e-filing either. And ex partes are also beautifully done. Same procedure or similar procedure to San Francisco, except the ex partes are happening in all departments except in department with Judge Adams, which I learned the hard way, is starting at 8:30, not at 9. Although the website on Marin says all ex partes start at 9. Be aware, if you send someone else to file and they don't get you the paperwork on time, you have to appear at Judge Adams' department at 8:30. All right, so I think that summarizes my, if I had to choose 2 courts that I like to appear the most in terms of organization and getting things done and seeing the judge, I would say Marin would be my number 1 because it has tentative and it has Zoom meetings. San Francisco number 2, it has tentative, does not have Zoom meetings, and then San Mateo, Alameda, and then Contra, Costa as last. That was it for today. I hope that was helpful, and I will see you soon. Bye.